Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kookie McGee, aka Keagan here, back with another video once again. And I'm going to start the video by wishing you all a very happy Halloween because today it is Halloween. I'm not dressed up, of course, but I'm wearing my Friday the 13th, the final chapter t shirt, which I got at the Northwest Beer Fest last year. Anyways, it's time for another movie review video. So this is actually going to be my second ever Halloween special video that I've done since the first Halloween special that I did was when I reviewed the Rocky Horror Picture Show back in season 4. And I haven't really done any Halloween specials since then. And the other day on my community tabs, I did a poll asking you guys whether I should review Ginger Snaps 1 and 2 or Cannibal Holocaust and Necromantic for this year's double feature Halloween review. And surprisingly, Ginger Snaps 2 and 3 got more votes than Cannibal Holocaust and Necromantic. I gotta be honest, I'm actually surprised that Ginger Snaps 2 and 3 got more votes than a Cannibal Holocaust and Necromantic because I thought those movies would have got it over Ginger Snaps, but it is what it is. I'll review Cannibal Holocaust and Necromantic in another video. But with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed and Ginger Snaps Back The Beginning are the follow-up films to the first Ginger Snaps movie from 2000. I actually talked about the first movie in another movie review video that I uploaded about a month ago, not long after I saw the film in 35mm for its 25th anniversary screening at one of my local theaters. While the first Ginger Snaps movie wasn't necessarily a box office success here in Canada and North America, the movie did, however, find a lot of success overseas, prompting the first film to get a sequel. Now, the second movie and the prequel movie were both filmed back-to-back in Edmonton, Alberta, which is actually not far from where I'm from. I actually live near Edmonton, which is it's pretty cool. And both of these films were both released in 2004. The first movie had a limited theatrical release in January of that year. And The Beginning did have a Fantasia premiere had its premiere at the Fantasia Film Festival in the summer of 2004 before it got its direct-to-video release the following month after its premiere at the Fantasia Film Festival. While both films are solid follow-ups and a decent sequel to the first film, they're not exactly up the same quality as what made the first movie so great. I still found them really enjoyable for what they are, but they're nowhere near as good as the first film, of course. But I enjoy them for what they are. And we're going to talk about both films individually, of course. So let's take a dive into Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed and Ginger Snaps Back The Beginning. Oh, one more thing I forgot to say before we continue. There will be some spoilers in this video, but I will post some timestamps in the description for you to avoid any of the spoilers if you don't want to get ruined by any spoilers in any way. Anyways, let's continue. So we're going to start with Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed, which was directed by Grant Sullivan, and it picks up a couple weeks after the first movie ended. And this movie is actually the breakout role for actress Tatiana Maslany, or however you say her last name. You might know her from that terrible She-Hulk TV show, and was in other movies like The Monkey. And I believe she was also in the TV show Orphan Black. I've never watched Orphan Black, but I do want to check it out. Anyways, so this film takes place a couple weeks after the first movie ended, which the first movie ended on Halloween, and this movie picks up around a few weeks after in the winter time, which is pretty interesting. It follows Bridget, played by Emily Perkins, who is on the run after the events from the first movie. And Bridget, or B, whatever you want to call her, has been cursed with the same she's cursed to being a werewolf like her sister Ginger in the first movie, who was played by Catherine Isabel. Actually, Ginger does appear in this movie, but she's not in it for very long because she's only in the movie as a ghost because, spoiler alert, she died at the end of the first movie. So it's just Bridget in this movie. Anyways, Bridget is slowly becoming a werewolf, and the curse is getting worse and worse to the point where if she doesn't do anything to free herself from being a werewolf, she could become a werewolf permanently. And she tries to take a syringe full of this thing called Wolf's Bane, which was supposedly able to cure her from being a werewolf, like it was supposed to cure Ginger in the first movie. But then she gets mistaken for being a drug addict and taken to this rehab center where she is trying to fight off the curse before it's too late, and befriends one of the members of the rehab center named Ghost, played by Tatiana Maslany, or how you say her last name. And without giving away too many spoilers, this is what the film is about in a nutshell. Now, I really enjoyed Ginger Snaps 2 for what it was. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as the first movie, not by a long shot, but I still thought it was a pretty solid sequel. And this movie is definitely a lot darker than the first movie, which, unlike the first movie, which did have some dark comedy in the film, this movie, however, doesn't have any comedy. It's much darker and definitely tackles some heavy subject matter like self-harm and such, which can be potentially triggering to some. And the makeup and special effects, especially on the gore, is really good too, much like the first film. And Emily Perkins is great in this movie, just like in the first film. And Catherine Isabel was good in this movie too, even though she was only in the movie for like 3 minutes. She was good in the movie too. And Tatiana Maslany, or however you say her name, was also really good as the character Ghost. No, not Ghost from Call of Duty. This is Ghost from Ginger Snaps 2. But yeah, I thought she did really good in this movie too. And this was actually her first movie she was in as well. She was 17 at the time when she was in this movie. Even though her character was supposed to be like 13 or something, she was actually 17 at the time of making this movie. But yeah. The only thing I don't like about the movie is the ending. I don't know, I just really was not a fan of the ending, which I don't want to spoil it, but if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, but other than that, it's a pretty solid sequel, despite not being nearly as good as the first film. I still think it's a pretty solid follow-up to the first film. And if you like the first movie, definitely check it out. It's pretty good. So I'm giving Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed a 7 out of 10. Now we move on to Ginger Snaps Back: The Beginning, which was directed by Grant Harvey and the prequel to the first two movies. Now, this one is a little bit of a weird one, to say the least. It's got both Ginger and Bridget from the first two movies, both played by Catherine Isabel and Emily Perkins. But here's the thing: it takes place in the early 19th century in Canada, but the first two movies take place in the present, and it's essentially the same characters, but in a different time period, which is a little bit weird, so to speak. Now, I enjoy this movie. I think this movie is fine, but it's probably my least favorite of the three movies. But not that it's bad, just, I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird one to get into. But it's not bad or anything, but just a little bit weird. But we'll get to the story of it really quickly, and then we'll get into my thoughts on it a little bit more. So, Ginger Snaps Back, the beginning, takes place in 1815, and it follows Ginger and Bridget, who survive a sinking ship where their parents both die in the ship. And the two girls are out on their own in the forest. They're lost. And then Ginger gets bitten by a werewolf and gets cursed, much like in the first film. And then Ginger and Bridget seek refuge at this trading post fort where where all the occupants in the fort start to grow very wary of them, specifically Ginger, when they eventually find out that she's been bitten by a werewolf, as the forest is filled with other werewolves who are attempting to take over the fort. And then Ginger and Bridget are doing their best to keep Ginger's curse a secret, otherwise stuff could go wrong. Well, without giving away too much, that's basically what the story of this film is about in a nutshell. Now, this movie is a mixed bag, so to speak. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I think it's alright. I mean, obviously nowhere near as good as the first movie, but I thought it was decent. Though, I have a feeling it'll probably grow on me more and more over the years, the more times I rewatch it. But the first Ginger Snaps movie will always be the best. But, hey, there are still some things to like about this one. Like, it's got the set designs look really good, and most of the fort scenes in this movie were filmed at the Fort Edmonton Park in Edmonton, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever actually been to the Fort Edmonton Park, but I wouldn't mind checking it out one day. That could be an idea for a future vlog video, that I go to the Fort Edmonton Park. Well, maybe I'll do that one day. Anyways, the special effects in this movie look really good, especially for the werewolf effects, much like the first two films. And Catherine Isabelle and Emily Perkins are both great in this film, like they are in the first two films. But the thing that kind of bothers me is that, considering how the second movie ends, you'd think they would make a follow-up to the second movie, but no, they just make it a prequel. I don't know, it's just a little bit weird to me. But other than that, this movie, it's not bad or anything, not bad by any means, but it's definitely the weakest film of the three, in my opinion. But it's not bad. Once again, I'd say the first movie is still the best film of the franchise. So, but other than that, the second movie is pretty good. This one's alright, but the first Ginger Snaps movie will always be the best. But if you like the first two movies, check this one out. You might like it, you might not, but I personally thought this one was decent. Anyways, I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving Ginger Snaps Back, the beginning, a 6.5 out of 10. Well, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that'll be coming out soon. But in the meantime, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy, guys. Peace. Bye-bye.